Alright, check it out guys. This is the new Smooth Q2, and for this shoot, I'm going to be replacing this with this. What's going on guys, Dan Watson, Learning Cameras, and this is the Zhiyun Smooth Q2. And you know me, I shoot gimbals a lot, but my typical gimbal setup is gonna be something like this, much heavier and a bigger setup for big DSLRs and cameras. So when Zhiyun asked if I wanted to try and create some of what I normally do with a gimbal that fits in my pocket, I was like, yep, let's do it. And so that's what we did. That entire sequence was shot on this with actually the iPhone XS. And what I want to do is kind of give you a little bit of an overview of this gimbal and then tell you some tips that I use to kind of capture a little bit more cinematic and really good footage with your phone. So first, when I got this in, I didn't actually expect that much, and that is because kind of your older gimbal setups were like this. This is Zhiyun's first one. It was plastic, it was large. It didn't have a lot of the features that you would expect on higher end gimbals, which you would think, but this is the new Smooth Q2 and it has a lot of that. So not only are we talking a full metal body everywhere, we are talking about some really cool functions on here. Rubberized grip, quick release mechanism for popping off your phone. So when you need to get this off, take a call, you can do that. Pop it right back on, snap this metal lever right on the back, and you are good to keep shooting and you're completely balanced still. So really cool to see on that. Also on the front, you have a lot of the dials and buttons you would expect on a gimbal like this. You have a joystick, you have a camera shutter button, really cool functions on that actually, and then your power button. So initially when you boot up, you get into this follow mode, and that will allow you to pan follow. So as I pan, it will follow me, but every other axis is just going to be keeping it still. Head into the next one, that's the one I use the most. The lock mode right here will lock everything for you. The follow mode is going to follow you on two axes, so up and down, and then left and right. And then your point of view will follow you all three axes, and that could be cool for getting some kind of cool rotation shots. And then one more secret mode, hit it one more time, and you get that vortex mode that allows you to do some kind of cool shooting like this. Now they do have a couple more secret moves, so you can actually hit this power button 3 times, and you can access selfie shooting like that. Let's go ahead and trigger that back. You can do vertical shooting by just moving the gimbal vertically like this, and now you have that full option. So a lot of cool functions on this that you wouldn't even think would be on a gimbal like this. If you are shooting with wide angle lenses, they do have a mode inside the lock mode for keeping your gimbal out of the way, and then you can still use it. It's kind of unfortunate that we can't use this in all of the modes, but because of where this function hits, the wide angle is not going to work on every phone. So if you have something like the newest iPhone 11, there's going to be a little bit of a limitation there. Now you do still have a 1/4 on the bottom of this, which I was kind of surprised at. And then also it has a self-locking mechanism. So this is, I think, magnetic right here. So once you put that in there, it keeps it like that, and it's really easy to travel with. Also, I do like a feature which, if you connect your phone to Bluetooth to this device, you can actually use this to trigger your camera right from the existing camera app, so you don't have to use Zhiyun's app, which they do have an app and it's fully functioning and everything like that for controlling all of the features, doing panoramic shooting, all your time-lapse modes. But if you just want to take a quick picture or video, you can actually control this just by connecting to Bluetooth. Now the battery which is inside here is chargeable via USB-C, and then you also have the ability to keep your phone charged through a micro USB right in here. And the reason you might want to do that is that this has actually 16 hours of battery life, so really crazy battery life. So you can actually use it as a little bit of a power bank to keep things charged up. Now, if you do want to use your phone for some high quality video, a couple of tips here. The first is going to be, if you're doing video especially, you're probably going to want a manual camera app, and your phone probably doesn't come with one. So the one I use the most is Moment Pro, and Moment Camera Pro, and it's a good company that makes lenses and stuff like that for phones, and they make an app as well. Filmic Pro is another good one, although that one will cost you a little bit more money. But those are some options to you guys. Feel free to download whatever ones. I'm not affiliated with any of those companies. It's just what I used for me. Now those will get you manual shooting in this. You do also have some abilities inside the Zhiyun app for controlling your camera directly. So once you kind of have your settings dialed in, there are a couple camera moves you're probably going to want to focus on. Now I do have a video with like my favorite gimbal moves, and those would really apply to this as well. So you can check out that video. But the most important one is going to be, we always need a foreground element in order to be able to visualize the camera moving. So you want to be able to see this movement taking place. Otherwise, you might as well just be holding it or locked off on a tripod. So in order to do that, we need a foreground element and a background element. So for me, I was using the model in this video as my foreground element and then the background. So if you're using rocks or trees or light stands, whatever you want, you will get that kind of parallax movement as long as you have both a foreground and a background element. The other tip I would recommend, which can be really cool for shooting with gimbals, is to go into a slow motion mode and then keep moving very quickly with the gimbal. So if you're running around your subject, but you're shooting in slow motion, and most cameras can shoot high frame rates or slow motion. In fact, you can do a slow motion video right from that Zhiyun app. Let me know if you guys have any questions on it. It's been kind of fun to not have to carry this around and to be able to use something like this that can fit very easily in your pocket. Really well built gimbal, so I'm very impressed with that. And then as long as you're not using that wide angle into a lot of different modes, which honestly on a gimbal, I don't like to shoot super wide because it can be harder to see that gimbal effect. So kind of that standard angle is probably the best for most shooting situations. So that's it. Thank you guys so much for watching. Please hit like and subscribe, and I have a whole lot more coming up soon.